Welcome back to the DIY Guys podcast. As always, I'm Dan and I'm joined by my good friend Nick. How's things, mate? You right?
Very well. How are you, buddy?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Not too bad. How have you been? What you been up to?
Today's been one of those days. Tell people at home we're recording after hours now, aren't we? It's sort of like
Yeah,
nearly
it is.
9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And it's been one of those days where I've just done too much multitasking. Some of it for the bungalow, which is good to chat about later. But literally, I dropped Lydia off, my daughter, to her nanny and granddad's this morning before
Nice.
work. Came back to my house. I'm doing a building outdoor barbecue,
Yeah, I've
which you're going to
seen,
get an
yeah.
invite to at some point. I'll talk
Nice.
about that again later. I was waiting for some cedar wood to come for that. So I
Yeah.
did that before work. And then I went over to the bungalow and finally got rid of all the scrap.
Nice.
Because, again, I'll go into this in much more detail later, but the bungalow was an absolute disgrace there yesterday and I had like a meltdown. So I need to do something to tidy it up.
Yeah.
And I decided to rip out all the copper and go and scrap that.
Was it you that made it an absolute disgrace?
Yes.
Or can you blame other people?
No, I think it's mostly me with like a 20% builder blame. Well, I've just been like going there after work, doing a bit, leaving it, ripping up boards in the loft, wiring it, leaving it, and then you suddenly look around and it's like, I wouldn't want to work in this. And then soon it's all going to be going off.
I'm surprised because you're always so tidy. Like
I know.
I know I haven't seen you on all the jobs, but you are so like mega clean with it.
But I've just been doing so many weird like couple of hours here, 2 hours there. Like today, for example, then the last job was go to my brother's job, and he's got a garden room at the moment in Kent. He's building, so I went and rewired that. Wired that from this new, so brand new. And then after work, Emily's out with work, so then I had to pick up Lydia from Nanny and Granddad's, put her to bed, then call you and say, come over now, did it? So I'm a bit rattled. It's been one of those like manic days. I'm just like trying to like decompress.
That's it. No rest for the wicked, mate.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, usually I'm super, super, super tidy.
Yeah.
But oh my God, I was there yesterday. It's bad in every room. And what's my fault about it is I've just crashed. It's my brother phoning me on FaceTime.
Oh, Mo.
Oh, what's he doing? What's he doing? I won't answer. Hold on. I think we're still good. We can still go on with this. It's fine. Did your phone do that when it comes up on the laptop when you get a phone call?
No, I haven't got my link to
See, I should have done that.
Rookie.
So why is he phoning me this late? It's got to be about the garden room today.
Yeah, it's got to be. Or maybe he wants to be on the podcast.
I think it's we're doing this. He's built this like awesome like bespoke TV unit thing.
Oh yeah.
And I did the same on his garden room. He wants like little cool LED lights in the niches and stuff like that. And he probably wants to discuss that, hopefully.
Yeah. He loves a phone call, doesn't
he? He loves a phone call. Hopefully it's nothing else.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think most of the mess at the bungalow is totally my fault because in the last couple of weeks I've ripped off the radiators like I told you.
Nice, yeah.
And being an electrician dealing with plumber, I did everything, not how a plumber would do it. But I've finally lost patience with my old boy. I think I told you guys that I've got a quote from a new plumber.
Yeah.
But that didn't include ripping out. So I've been ripping it out. And like anything, I'm like, oh, these pipes are empty, cool. But then something goes all of a sudden here. A little bit of air escapes there, water there. So I've literally had water in both the original bedrooms, like all over the floor everywhere.
Oh, God.
And I finally got rid of all those pipes that are dangling down, where the old cupboard was in the middle. But again, obviously I did it with like 80% class and 20% chaos. So just like loads of water everywhere. And then I removed all of them in the loft as well, with only a little bit of water came out there because it was like gravity fed, so it all dropped down.
Yeah.
But it's just been, so I've been making loads of mess. And then I think the builders have been making a little bit of mess as well because I think there hasn't been a skip there for a while.
Okay, yeah.
And I've been kind of playing like skip chicken with the builder. Because I'm like, surely he needs one to finish. But then also he knows that I need one definitely.
Yeah.
I've got like 4 or 5 months left here. So I was like, maybe he'll get one and I'll hold out. And he's presumably just doing the same. Or it's just been too busy to do it. So God damn it, I went and did it.
So you broke.
I'm so annoyed. And it's more expensive now. They've got a bloody fuel surcharge.
Oh, God.
It's like, don't you hate surcharges and things like that?
Yeah. It's just so annoying. Just everything should be in the price.
Exactly. Is that all this like Iran stuff? They like suddenly there's an extra 10 on it. And I was like, I'm pretty sure read that one of these skip companies last year, someone told me both directors took a £6 million dividend. I think you can like take the £10 fuel surcharge.
You can take a shot for that.
I think it's just another excuse to just like rack up the prices.
I know, right? Yeah. Well, I saw something today that BP's profits have doubled since the Iran war.
It's so annoying. It's like the COVID stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so annoying. So I finally got a skip. And then I was like, right, I'm going to start from the loft up. So I've cleared the loft, but I haven't done anything else. But even like all the pipes had lagging on and had taped. It was like the Incredible Hulk to tape them as well. I had to get a saw on every bit because I left my knife on another job. So again, this is all a bit me being a bit chaotic when I'm usually not that chaotic.
No, yeah.
So I had all the lagging up there. I got rid of some of the old insulation because it'd all been like flowing out. And then the loft, I got rid of Gran's old suitcases. A couple of those like old people always have those leather old suitcases.
Yeah.
But they're much better than the crap we buy.
Yeah,
clearly they're still working.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, unfortunately, they're going to have to go to the skip because
they're not in good condition.
They are in good condition. There's no way I'd be like, we're going on a stag do this weekend. There's no way I'm rocking up with this shitty old leather.
That would be amazing.
Exactly. It's probably like Gran never bought anything in the last 30 years of her life. So presumably like 60 years old or something as well.
Yeah. You might get good money for those, though.
I know. I mean, to be fair, they're not in the skip yet, so maybe I could look it up. But she did have a box of books and things and old photos and stuff that I've taken back to my mum and dad's to go through eventually.
Yeah.
But yeah, so loft is like clearer, and I'm gonna, the old plastic water tank.
Yeah.
There's a plastic water tank up there and a metal water tank up there. So I'm gonna get rid of the plastic one next week by chopping that in half. That'd be easy. And then the metal one, I'm just like deliberating over because I should do it. It's a complete ball ache. So morally, I'm like, I'm going to do it. Yeah. And then I'm like, will I actually do it?
Yeah. It's annoying that when you took the ceilings down, there weren't a big enough gap to just chuck it.
I know, no, because they didn't take off enough roof tiles or anything, either going out the side, anything like that. But I think I want to do it just in case a viewer looks up in the loft, which I don't think happened, but I have looked up in a few lofts.
Yeah.
And it's just like a better impression.
Does, right?
Yeah. And it probably makes the plumber's life easier to do neat runs and stuff. You don't have to go around anything. So, probably going to do that.
I know you. It'll be like playing on your mind if you don't do it. So exactly. I think you just got to do it.
So the moral high ground is annoying.
You should just give less of a shit about what you're doing. You'll be fine.
I know. God damn it. But yeah, so it's been going well. But I don't know if you've told you a little bit about what's going on, but my note one is that my builder Toby, who you know very well, listens to this podcast.
I was going to say we've got a VIP listener, Toby.
I'm devastated by this because I said really early on I don't mind talking about them because I think one of them asked once like, do you have to pay for a podcast and stuff like that? They've never listened to podcasts. He said he was on a really long train journey, then a bus journey. He was fed up of his music, so started listening. And he was like, I was cracking up. And I was like, man. I was like, what one were you listening to? And he was like, the one when Dave went to Disneyland and he had a week off and there was no work on, and then Dave asked for like 12k or something. And I was like, oh God, that's like the most negative I've spoken about you. I promise, like I've only praised you and I've got no stress with you and it's all good.
It's like the 2-minute section where we've said anything negative.
And he's like, I'm going to list all of them now. And I'm like, oh God damn it, that really affects how I feel like moving forward. So I'm already being so transparent with like money and stuff. I just don't want to do this now.
But we can still slag off Dave.
Yeah. He did like the fact that I said that basically Toby seems to be doing all the work and Dave just like flitters in and out between other jobs. Like at the moment, even Dave today was on our kitchen job, installing that kitchen, and Toby was at my job alone again.
Yeah.
And I said to him, God, it's actually really hard being on his own. Like he's been up on the roof by himself and he'd be like, I'll be up there, you'll drop like a drill bit or something, you'll be like, and you'll go down the little support, down the ladder, pick up the drill bit, go back up. It's like,
then realise it's the wrong drill bit.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we've got a VIP listener in Toby who is my tremendous builder.
Yeah.
No qualms about him. What a lovely man. Probably a nice man I've ever met.
Takes holiday at the right time.
Well, not really. We're the same time as Dave.
So
nothing got done. So I don't know whether to call this week 12 or week 11 because week 11, guys, nothing happened.
Yeah.
And yet I still had to pay out money.
So we're going to keep it real and we're going to say it is the end of week 12, which it actually is. even if Nick hasn't been doing anything.
Yeah. I've done a day and a half this week, which is not bad.
Yeah.
And I've actually got like a little bit of motivation from it, from being like, sometimes when you're away from something, it's sort of out of sight, out of mind, and then you go there, you're like, oh, I could actually do like this, and this now.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to get my head around a few things I can do, which is cool.
Get that going. And I even thought, well, just like a bit of behind the scenes, you send me like a list of stuff that you're like thinking about discussing this week, and I was like, oh, actually, Nick has like proper smashed it out this week.
It probably doesn't look. Oh, I'd say most of the stuff is builder related.
Yeah, true. Yeah, Toby has smashed it out this week.
Yeah, not Dave. Just reiterate, not Dave. Hopefully, you can't listen to a podcast. Otherwise, it would just like double the price of everything moving forward. But yeah, so my brother came round on Monday or Tuesday, I think it was. We did like a site survey on another one of his jobs. So I was like, "Can I grab you?"
Yeah.
And we've changed the layout around. I'll try and describe it as best as possible for like listeners, but the utility is in the back of the new extension, and the kitchen is like next to it, but in the old house. Okay. And I was going to put a door between the two, because in my house, I think it's really convenient to be like in the kitchen, but say you got like a horrible burnt pan or something, you go and take a utility room sink and let it like sit in there or whatever.
Yeah.
And I just realised that is a bit of a luxury, but actually it would sort of muck up the whole kitchen layout. Chris and I decided, because you're putting a door on like a full wall that could just run straight in, and that full wall can give you anything. It could give you, we're thinking maybe a whole wall of tool units from like end to end sort of thing, or anything. It could even be like a stick out breakfast bar, not that we're thinking of that, but it actually limits us by having this door in there. So Chris was like, why don't you just have the door in the extension where you were originally going to have it, where you walk through to this extension, there's a new bathroom, new ensuite, new bedroom, and then at the other end the utility. Is like, so what? You go to utility, do like laundry and stuff. What I'm just describing is quite like rare, just to randomly go in there for a pot and pan type thing.
Yeah, I suppose like, I don't think we use it similar to what you just said. We've got like washing machine, tumble dryer, much to Christy's annoyance, I wash my golf clubs in there.
I need to do that. I never wash my clubs.
So, yeah, but I don't think we really use it that much for like kitchen related stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do, but no, it does feel like a separate room, and it's used for anything that we don't want to use like the kitchen sink for.
Oh, that's interesting then. That's what my brother's really good at. I think this is one of my qualities, that I'm good at listening to others, especially like if a carpenter comes around and advises me to do that. Generally, I'm like, oh, okay, cool, you know better than me. And I think he's right. I think it would really like disrupt the flow of the room.
Yeah.
It's hard, because when you put tool units, it's good to have like a flat run, I think. But because then if you think about a return of a tool unit, like a corner unit, they start to get a bit lumpy money, and they sometimes don't look that good. And where does the worktop butt up to?
Yeah.
And then Chris was like, I think visually walking through the kitchen door, and on your left, just this like tall bank, and then you can have the fridge, a freezer, ovens, microwave, all in one thing.
I think it gives you more options, right?
Yeah. And then we also said that does that little triangle that everyone's always banging on about, where we've got like we could have the hob on one. If you picture it almost like a big C or U, say you could have the hob on one section. You could have like the oven and the fridge and the freezer and the microwave on the other section.
Yeah.
And then the furthest section, which is the back of Gran's house, there'd be the sink. And everyone always says that's like the triangle is what you want for like getting to everything quickly, like dishwasher and everything. So I was like, oh God, okay, that does actually make sense. And that means the consequences of that are, I told Builder Dave and Toby to put a back door in the utility. So they need to block that up.
Okay, yeah.
Because they were going to keep the back door in the kitchen as is.
Okay, interesting.
And again, I was like, yeah, that does actually, because obviously, if you imagine we had the back door in the utility room, but you couldn't get to it via the kitchen, that would be a pain in the ass, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
like go to the garden with a drinks or whatever.
Also, I don't know about your utility, but we use it like for like washing or whatever, and it's a room that we like that we can shut away, that no one sees. So if people come round and there's loads of washing in there, you just shut the door.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
But if you're like having a barbecue, for example, and you're like in and out of the kitchen and you've got to go through the utility.
Exactly, I think you're right. Messy. Yeah, you're totally right as well, actually, because Emily just launches everything on the floor. It winds me up. She's like, I'm like, is that clean or dirty?
See, I'm that person. Chrissy's like, come down. She's like, I thought you'd done the washing. I was like, I have. Yeah. She's like, there's just stuff everywhere.
I just have to pick up and smell it, and I just look like a weirdo smelling everyone's clothes. But I'm just like, I just don't know what it's clean. But you're totally right. It is. So if you have people over, to get to the garden, you have to walk straight through utility room, and it'd be a blooming night. So yeah, that is logical. So yeah, I think Chris's idea is good, and it just means original back door can get changed over for a new one. I was like, oh, maybe we can keep the original back door then. I looked at it, I was like, God damn it, it's awful.
Oh no.
I just can't see any way of like painting it or doing anything to.
Is it wood or is it metal?
It's metal. It's like aluminium, so it's probably not the worst quality, but it's just so old fashioned.
Yeah.
And I just don't know. It's like one of those things, you spend all that money on the kitchen, you don't want to, it'll just let it down.
Well, I think where you're renovating the whole thing, if you leave something like that is old and looks old, then I feel like it does really just stick out. Like if everything else is really smart and nice, and then you've got an old door, then I think it might like stand out a bit, I suppose.
Yeah, and I think I always keep watch, and I'm sure you do as well. If you've got Rightmove alerts on all times, I love nosing on houses, and I've seen some in our area where like a semi-detached house can go from anything from like 550 up to like 1.25, and you're like, what on earth is going on at this 1.25?
Yeah.
And you look at it and you're like, wow, it's just like 10 out of 10 everything. Carpentry is all bespoke, and you're like, oh, if you want to get the most money, you've got to try and hit those heights if you can afford to, type thing, or do the work yourself or whatever.
Yeah, also I think when you live somewhere as well, you're like, you want it to look the best, don't you? Like, you know, and I always think if you're doing something, you're like, oh, it's going to cost like an extra whatever, but you're like planning to live there and you're not renovating it just to sell it, then stuff like that will annoy you in the end. You'll just be looking at it and be like, oh, I wish I'd done that in the end. Like,
exactly. Yeah. So it all comes down to obviously budget and stuff. But back doors aren't too bad because we're going to have to do the front door as well. And then I know these are small things, but like the keys don't work because, you know, Gran's been there 30 odd years and didn't do anything, and these things get wary. So I've just been speaking to Dave about what just needs to be blocked up now, and it's quite cool. We're getting to that stage where he says he's going to be done in less than a month.
Wow.
And it's against that, I was trying to say, so he's blocking up windows that were external previously, but now the extension's there, sort of thing. So he doesn't have to make any opening now from the kitchen utility, but he does have to make that hallway opening from what was the old bathroom, which is going to go into the extension, which was the old garage, and then that's going to go into the bedroom, ensuite, bathroom, utility. Still a bit nervous about how like big or small these are going to be, but I've done some pencil marks on the wall, and you're like, oh, it's not horrendous, but you know when it gets dot and dab and plastered, it just starts shrinking. So hopefully it'll be all right.
No, I think you normally like, especially if you're expecting it to be small, and then the stud work. Well, this was what it was like on mine. The stud work went up, and I was like, oh, actually, this is like a really decent space, and like, you know, people were like, oh, it's got to be a meter or whatever, and I think we were slightly smaller than a meter, like for the walkway, and like when you're like laying down the floor, you're like, oh, that does feel tight. But when it's in an actual room, you don't even think, like, especially a utility.
Yeah, but it'll be an important week next week, I think, because all the stud work's arrived for them to start.
Yeah.
So doing all the extension stud work as part of the original, like 50 grand ish plus VAT quote. And I'm asked them to do one piece of stud work. You remember I told you about in the kitchen?
Yeah.
Forming the new kitchen, which I was going to do myself, but it's actually trickier than I thought. My brother's phoning me again. Unbelievable. It's fine, we can carry on. Obviously something seriously urgent. I was going to say the garden room I did today is on fire, but it's not even wired in yet, so it can't
be even worse if you somehow set on fire without wiring.
It would almost be impressive if it was on fire. So oh my god, what was I saying now? If my brother's
You're talking about the stud work.
Yes.
A bit complex.
Yeah, so I was going to do it, but the floor levels are out where I had to like chop down into the concrete.
Yeah.
Because it was a wet room and they had like drainage and stuff in there. So it's going to be more of like a skilled hand. And it's one of those economies of scale thing. They're going to be smashing that stud work up.
Yeah.
So again, just trust the guys that do it. Like it will take them probably an hour, and it'll probably take me a day and a half or something.
Especially if it is slightly more complex.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because I don't know about you, but I always stand there and think about all the different routes you can do it and stuff. And that's like half a day in itself.
Exactly. And you might make an error, make bad cuts and stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's much better. So but I have to decide on those room sizes next week. So I keep saying to myself, the utility really does not need to be a big room. So if you're going to have to sacrifice anything, I think my ensuite upstairs is like a meter wide finished.
Yeah.
So probably slightly bigger before plasterboard and stuff. So in my head, I'm like, that meter wide is fine. You can get a good shower tray in there. There's plenty of room. toilet naturally goes against the wall anyway, and it can be quite nicely done. But utility, I think it just needs to be able to have a tumble dryer and a washing machine, and maybe like a sink if possible.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It doesn't need a lot to be
No.
like really amazing. So you're not talking like more than maybe 1.5 meters, 2 meters or something.
Yeah.
I think it'll be all right.
You sold me on the sink, and our
Yeah,
one,
I'm
like,
definitely
it
going to
just
do it.
fits perfectly. Like,
Yeah, got to be done. And the drain's right outside that a window, so it'd be
meant
easy.
to be.
Exactly, it's meant to be. So I'm definitely going to do that. I've just got to make sure all those things fit in, because I just want the bedroom and the bathroom to be really like as wow as they can.
Yeah,
like, you've got to be able to get wardrobes in there. Got to be able to get a good sized bed, and like maybe like, I don't know if a dressing table, but side tables. It's got to be decent.
Yeah, definitely. And like you say, like you can squeeze a bit of space out of these like smaller rooms, like the ensuite. Like you say, if you can get a shower and toilet in there, then that's the main thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and then I'm getting really excited because the roofer. So today, building control was there. And it's funny with building control because they just must know good builders and bad builders, and they must just get a feel, and they mustn't get relationships with people, because they were almost like, I don't know why you're calling us, sort of thing. They were just like, oh, at the end, just get in touch with us now.
Oh, amazing.
And I'm like, oh, really? Because I said to them, remember to mention that we might do the porch and that needs foundations and stuff. But they said to Toby today, no, it's fine. You guys know what you're doing. Just take photos along the way. Take photos of the roof going on, insulation going in, and then that's absolutely fine. Because I think these people just walk in. You've been on like jobs and stuff. You're just like, well, this is dodgy builders or dodgy tradesmen. They must just know, right?
Yeah, they must do. Well, I suppose if they've seen it a certain number of times,
exactly,
they must know from experience. Like, oh, these people don't really know what they're doing.
Exactly. Even though the house looked like an absolute bomb site, I guess that's kind of irrelevant to them. The work's obviously good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
because they've been working on the roof carpentry like for so long. Admittedly, Toby's been doing a lot by himself, but it's so involved. When you're up there, actually building my outdoor barbecue at the moment, we've used 40 lengths of like floor bitumen.
Wow.
And I'm like, geez, but you go up there and you're like, that is just must be like triple. It's just insane the amount of detail that goes into
the
that.
skill to like build a roof is insane.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember my carpenter said, "Why don't you do the loft and do all the things yourself?" And I'm just like, I've never done it. How the hell would I be able to do that? And then just looking at the detail on this tiny roof, I'm like, there's no chance I could do that. It'd take me like 5 years and it'll be all wrong.
And it just falls down. 5 years of my life.
Yeah, exactly. So, building control are happy. The roof's done, which means the roofer starts tomorrow.
Nice.
Which is awesome. And that feels like a really good stage, because now I can contact my window guy. I've already got the quote for that, which was, I don't know if I put it on the spreadsheet, but it was something like $7,000 for the windows that are originally there and the porch and stuff. And he's done 3,000, what was it, 3,500's worth so far. So it'd probably be like the other half, where it's the window in the kitchen, window front, window back, and then the porch work will be later down the line if we decide what the hell to do there.
Yeah. And back door? You do the back door?
Yeah, and then that'll be on top, and front door will be on top as well, which could be $3,000 maybe, hopefully less, but depends which avenue I go down, because you can get some doors on like eBay and stuff, but it's like finding the right one's hard.
Yeah, it is. That, like, we looked at that before, and it's just like, I suppose if you get a wooden one, then you can kind of cut it down a little bit, I suppose. But like, would that fit in with your style? Do you know what I mean?
And reason some people got rid of a lot of them is because they're not fire rated and stuff like that. So you've got to make sure it's all done properly. But sometimes you can get absolute gems doing that. And I really like my front door, but everyone told me I overpaid. I spent like 2 years. I feel like, I'm doing a bargain. I got this off, and I got this off, and I found this deal. And everyone was like, "How much you pay for that?" I was like, $2,500. They're like, $2,500? You could have got it. And I was like, what? So I clearly on that one just got carried away with the colour or something, and I need to like look into it more. So hopefully I can get like.
Don't go back to the same shop.
Yeah, I know. Well, I really like it still, but apparently everyone thinks I could have got it cheaper somehow. I don't know. Maybe if I painted it myself or something.
Yeah.
So that's the front door and back door, something I've got to look into basically as well. But I'm getting excited now, because it means I get to go in and start rewinding that extension.
Nice.
And rewiring a new extension is the easiest and most fun thing ever. You just clip it to the blockwork. Everything's easy. Even like I can already see going up in the loft all the way across the extension to the new roof. And then my new roof has got a void of maybe like that much to throw all the cables in.
Amazing,
and it's like, it couldn't be. I could probably do it in a day. I'll probably just drag it out, just take my time, do it over a couple of days. But Actually, I think it'll be a day. It's really not going to be that hard.
Yeah,
I'm getting quite excited for that, and that means once I've done the stud work, I can rewire the new kitchen and everything, which will take longer because it's just more involved.
Yeah,
but it's getting to that stage now. You're like, cool. I reckon we're going to start like flowing now.
Yeah,
it's nice.
It's gonna all like come together nicely.
Hopefully. I've got a new job starting on the 11th of May, which is a bit annoying, but hopefully it'll just be a couple of weeks solid there, then come back and forth again. But still, I don't think it'll hold anything up too much. But it's definitely going to be more. This has been all on the builder, with me chipping in, and it's just going to flip, I think.
It's like slowly changing.
Yeah, and I can get the plumber in as well now. Which
I was going to say, have you booked the plumber in to start?
I've asked him, to come in. He's doing that kitchen we're working on at the moment. He's putting in like the air source heat pump and stuff at the moment.
Oh yeah.
So I said to him, ASAP, you can get some. So I went and I did his chases before, but he just wanted them slightly wider and slightly deeper. Okay, so I channeled those all out the other day as well.
Nice.
So yeah, he's ready to go on. I'd say like sort of 2/3 of the old house, and then when that roof goes on, presumably he can just crack on with doing anything. Like the new boiler's going in the utility room, and it's going to be so easy for him again with that massive void.
Yeah.
No cutting through joists or anything. You can just run everything above, drop it down.
Amazing. Yeah.
I think it's all going to fly in, so I'm hoping it sort of goes quite quickly now.
Yeah.
As long as we've got the money to finish, which I have no idea. So I keep forgetting to speak to my brother about it. I
was going to say, is this a point where you're like starting to look at like end dates and like when you're going to start putting things on the market, or do you just like to hold off a bit? I don't
want to get too carried away because I always feel like if you work to a date, sometimes it's quite hard to work to a date because you're so reliant on other people, aren't you?
Yeah.
But I think selling at like Christmas is notoriously a terrible time. And like November, I know you can get the odd anomaly, but in my head, I feel like September's always quite a good time to sell, or October. And then people buy and try and complete before Christmas.
Yeah.
Apparently, summer holidays is terrible to sell because all the kids are off.
Yeah.
And no time to go and visit these things. But again, I might be targeting an old retired person anyway who has all the time in the world.
Yeah.
So who knows?
I also think like it's a bit, maybe not a myth, but it's like if you want to sell your house and you need to move,
exactly.
It doesn't matter what time of the year it is, does it realistically?
No, exactly. I mean, we bought ours. We completed in February, and it was 2 months. So we must have made an offer. Oh, we did make an offer in December. So there you go.
Yeah.
Because I remember because Emily was super ill, and she was like, "Oh, I've seen this house. I love it. It's got so much potential.
Yeah.
We could extend here." And she was so ill, and she was like, "Oh, I can't be bothered. It's not going to be right. We're going to have all this work to do. Can we even afford it?" And I was like, come on, she was so poorly. She was like, "Oh, whatever." And I was like, "Oh, we won't get it anyway." And I just bid asking, and apparently people offered more than us, but they turned them down because we said we'd be quicker. And we got it. And then she was like, What you said you weren't going to get it, and now I haven't even seen it. And I was like, no, I've already ordered a structural engineer to come, so it's too late. So yeah, that was December. So obviously for us it was amazing. So exactly, who knows? Who knows?
So true, isn't it? I think ours was. We made an offer. It was like must have been like late winter. Yeah, it must have been.
Yeah,
so it just is what it is.
What it is. I'm not like precious about it, but I do realise compared to other jobs I've worked on how like small a house it is. So I don't see how the plumber, for example, can be in there for like 20 days of work, for example.
Yeah.
To me, if there's him and one other, they could get it done, including the boiler and stuff, which they wouldn't do in the first week. I reckon it'd be like 5 days first fix.
Yeah.
4 or 5 days second fix, 10 days for them. It's just so doable. I've done some of the chases for them. Extensions, just putting it down the wall to rads. It's really obviously bathrooms and the ensuite is the most work for them. But maybe second fixing's way slower, to be fair, for plumbers because it's just like so fiddly with valves and things, isn't
testing
it? Testing everything, hanging a boiler.
Yeah.
So maybe that, but I just can't see how they're going to take a long time. But it's just whether like my plaster and stuff like that is reliable and can come around and crack on.
Yeah.
And then down to me.
Boiler first fix or second fix?
Second. Especially no one's living there, so there's no urgency to like do it or anything.
Just thought they would want to get that on before doing everything else, but I suppose it will be the start of second fix, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know if they do that. Some people might leave it right until the end. But yeah, if I was them, I always like doing the big things first. That's why I've already put my new fuse board in there, and then I've transitioned to all of that now. So the old fuse board's gone, all the old wiring's gone,
amazing,
and the new one's there. So I like to do that sort of thing early, but obviously the plumbers couldn't because the roof's not on and stuff like that. So I'm just hoping they give me, like, they do it like I like to work and just book me out for a week and smash it, go away again, come back in August or September,
after plastering,
and just smash it again. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
And then I've got to just try and start thinking ahead all the little steps. So like I'm going to paint it myself, but I also know a painter at the moment who needs a little bit of work.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get a price from him, and then need to meet with my brother and discuss like budget and stuff, because painting something that I think is kind of underrated. Some people are like, oh, you can just do it yourself, which I think you can, but some of it is so difficult with like woodwork and
it's like intricate, isn't it?
Exactly. Some of it's like obviously fairly easy, but even when places are plastered, there's still a bit of sanding that needs to be done.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And again, if you want to get good money, I think it just needs to be like bang on. So I'm going to get a price from him, and then decide down the line whether it's worth going with him and whether we've got the money to or not, basically.
Or if you do half and half, I suppose, if like you do a few bits and he does.
Because I was like, oh, I could miscoat it to save you the money, but sorry, to save the hassle. But he actually said, oh, to be fair, it'd be so much better for me if you can tape up all the windows for me. I'll just spray it, and he can miscoat the place in a day.
Oh, amazing.
And I've seen him do that at a job I had for a client, where he was just taping and taping and taping and taping, and you're like, oh my god, he's just done nothing for like 6 hours, and he's just like, miscoat, first coat done, next morning, second coat done. And you're like, Jesus, the whole like upstairs is miscoated. That's like crazy. Woodwork, everything in like basically a day's worth of spraying. So he was like, it won't actually be that expensive for you, and I was like, oh, okay. So then I'm like conflicted.
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? Like, we nearly bought a paint sprayer, like, because we did our whole house, but I heard a lot of things about like you've got to like keep it used and make sure it's like clean. So it just feels like it's not the greatest tool for a DIYer, right? Because it's not being used all the time, right? But if you're a painter, like using it day in, day out, it makes sense, doesn't it?
And you're notorious for buying buckets and paintbrushes and just throwing them in the skip. Because you share my tool station account. It's like, Dan's buying another bucket. Why did you buy so many buckets?
Just love a bucket, mate. What can I say?
They always end up in the skip.
Yeah, that's it.
So any environmentalists out there, to come for.
It should be outside my house, like protesting.
But yeah, I think spraying fast if you know how to do it properly. True. And then know how to tape up properly, and you're right, cleaning it, which I'd be really bad at too. I think you literally just at the end of every day need to clean it properly and get it ready for the next day, which again, my painter's so good with stuff. Like, you just see him at the end of the day, like he knows what, like, bag up certain brushes. He'll have like 10 brushes. Say if you're doing 10 colours, he'll have 10 brushes for 10 colours. And then he doesn't have to wash those up. He just keeps them in the paint thing or whatever. And it's like, oh, okay, you're just so much slicker than us, obviously.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and like, I love watching like painters like cut in.
I know.
It's just like such a skill, isn't it? And then I try it and I'm like, God damn it.
I know. I just can't do it. I literally can't do it. You see the technique of like a million times. They start out and go in, and it looks perfect. And you're like, oh, okay, you try it. And you're like, oh, I went on top.
You're like, immediately.
Like, and then a little drip goes on the floor. You're like, oh, and then you step in the drip. So I'm just like, oh my god. So I need to talk to my brother and me about like the budget and what we've got. The other one is Builder hasn't given me, so Dave hasn't given me a proper price yet, but he said the porch is going to be way more than I was expecting, between maybe 7 and 8 grand.
Oh wow.
So for people that haven't listened before, there's like a really ugly hexagonal porch on the front of the house, and it's like a big like eyesore. And I've got a price to just replace the glazing for the anthracite glazing that I put in the rest of the house. So it might neaten it up a bit. But neighbours have got a rectangular porch where they've knocked down the hexagonal one a bit, and it just looks slick and it looks smart. And I definitely want to do it. Talking about getting the highest value and like curb appeal and stuff. But excuse me. Yeah, he said it might be 7 to 8 grand because it's got no foundations, the original porch. So you're knocking down the porch, you're digging the foundations. He said it might be like 60 centimetres the whole way around, pouring concrete, and then building the bricks up again like a foot or so, ready for the windows and door. And then it also means adjusting everything, including the soffits, in the roof that goes into it, the flat roof. So actually, just saying it all out loud, you're like, God, that is actually quite a lot,
no
isn't it?
wonder it is.
No wonder it's quite a lot. I was in my head, I was thinking more like even 3 to 4, but maybe 4 to 5.
Yeah.
And then you're like, God, that 7 to 8 doesn't even include glazing. And I know I've got a quote for the glazing already, and it's not too bad, but it doesn't include the front door or the porch door. So you're like, this 7 to 8 with the windows could be 10, with the door could be, or doors, sir, could be 11 to 13, say, on a porch. But you said it the other week. I think if I've got it, I should definitely do it.
Yeah.
But it's whether I've got it like 13 grand.
Yeah, on a porch.
On a porch. And it literally, I've got quite a bit of work at the moment, and I keep thinking, oh, I've got this rewire, for example, and I'm like, once I'm taxed, that pays for not even half the porch. So it's just like so depressing
working
to like slug your guts out for like a month and a bit to get half what a porch is or whatever.
Yeah. Oh man.
So I'm just like, but I still feel like if the money's there from somewhere, then I should do it. But
I agree with you. I think if you got the money to do it, what would happen if you just knocked it down, had nothing?
Yeah,
that look weird?
I don't think so, because a neighbour opposite has that and it looks fine.
Yeah.
And we've got a new front door on, but I don't know, because it's crazy paving, terrible paving.
Yeah.
Surely no young people even know of, because no one's put it in for like 30 years. But obviously that stops up to the porch. So I'd have to get more crazy paving from somewhere and install it where the porch was, because obviously, and then presumably I'd still have to, like, even though there's no foundations, dig up a bit under the porch to then lay that tiny bit.
Yeah, that's
and then I'd have some weird bit of new crazy paving, unless I thought of something like out of the box, like a pretty like gravel bit or something,
Yeah.
I'm just like, there's
but
never like,
how much is that?
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. And there's never like an easy one, is there? It's like, okay, just get rid of the porch, and you're like, oh no, wait, that leads to
have to put something there.
Exactly. And then that presumably still means the soffits have got to get changed.
Yeah.
The soffits run into the porch. Okay. The guttering has to get changed because that runs into the porch.
Yeah.
I think the roof probably okay, but might need a little bit. So even getting rid of the porch might cost like $1,000 or $2,000, or I've no idea.
No.
So it's like, it's one of those, people must have this with their own DIY things where they're like, we've got $100,000 to do our house, and then these things come up. You're just like, man, 13 grand is 13% of the original budget.
Yeah.
That's mental on a porch. No one's sleeping in it.
But yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it's mad. Like I remember, like, annoyingly, like, what was it, like last year when we got really strong winds, it like blew one of our fences down. It was like, it had been going for ages, but it was just one of those things I didn't want to pay for. And then I was like, okay, like, I'm going to look at doing this myself. And then I priced it up, and then I was, out of interest, there was a guy who did our like side gate, got him round to quote it up, and the difference was just like, I know, I'd say just like 400 quid, but just £400. And I'm like, this is going to take me, like, I think it was like 6 panels. I was like, this could take me like 4 weekends.
Yeah.
And then you've got to annoy your neighbours because there's no fence there for 4 weekends, and you've got to hope that it doesn't rain.
Yeah.
And then you've got to hope that you're not doing anything, you don't get sick or whatever for those 4 weekends. It was just like a no-brainer, really. It was like, let's just pay this guy. Him and 2 other guys turned up, and they did it in half a day.
Oh, amazing!
And I was
absolutely
amazing. They're really good, but it just made me feel like a bit of an idiot, because I was like, this would have taken me like 8 days, and then you've done it in half a day.
But have you ever seen those guys on Instagram? I don't know if it's because of the algorithm, but I've seen a few people saying, you give a customer a price of, say, like £300, and you finish the work in like 3 hours, and the customer thinks, or like a day, where you said it might take 2, and then the customer gets annoyed, for example. And I was like, but you just can't, because some people have done this for like 30 years and are just awesome at it. Yeah. And like you said, it would take you 4 weekends minimum, maybe, and they've done it in half a day. But with 3, you're like, it's just worth it. Sometimes, if you've got the money, you just got to do it.
The price is the price at the end of the
day. Exactly.
Like, you're happy to pay it, and like, how many jobs do you do? I know in my job where you're like, oh, this is going to be a nightmare, and you're like, oh, actually, like,
it's fine.
Nothing went wrong, or like something minor went wrong. But there's also those jobs where you try and do something you think's going to be simple, and it's just a nightmare. So obviously they got to price that in, and
exactly.
At the end of the day, if you're happy paying that price, but even happier if it's done quicker.
Exactly. And that's one of those jobs that actually is hard, isn't it? Like, moving old like gravel boards and like concrete posts and dealing with concrete mix, digging when you see them digging with that thing, you're like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I think there is like a little screw drill thing you can get these days to help. Yeah. But I was like, it's such hard work. But yeah, it's one of those things like when we moved in here, they said the carpenter said to varnish the doors.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, cool. I said to Emily when we moving, can you do that, please? Because like, I know I've just done so much in this house. Can you please like do so? She's like, yeah, no, I don't mind. Just get the varnish and stuff. And A, I never bought her the varnish, to be fair. But B, when my painter texted me the other week saying I haven't got much work for a change, have you got anything? I was like, oh, actually, could you come and varnish the doors?
Yeah.
And then he came here and he was like, you know, you've got like, I can't think of the number, but like 22 doors or something. And I was like, what have I? And he was like, yeah. And it's 22 doors. So like 44 both sides I've got to do, 2 coats, so 88 coats. And then I was like, bloody hell. And it took him 3 days to like sand it down a bit.
Yeah.
And I was like, Emily doing 88 coats, if just say one side.
Yeah.
I was like, how on earth? That 88 coat might have taken you like 40 weeks or something.
Still be going now, I think.
Yeah, exactly. So it's one of those things I was like, oh, to pay my like painter a bit of money as well, it's just well worth it. Although I was like shocked by the price of paint. It's mental.
Yeah.
£160 for a tin of varnish.
Wow.
I just couldn't believe it. And he was like, oh, I think this is enough. I was like, make it enough. You will make it enough.
I don't care if something's not double coated.
The guy just was so nice as well and just gave me like a massive discount as well. He was just like, oh, actually, you're not an account holder, but, you know, blah, blah, blah. And he's whipped it. I was like, oh, cheers, mate, thanks. And I was like, still £160.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, I think sometimes you just got to know what to do and what not to do, right?
Yeah. Well, we've just finished painting our banister. And then it was like looking at it, I was like, oh, it's just wood paint. Like banister's quite like a hard wearing area, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, constantly like putting coats on there and stuff like that. So Christy looked up this stuff and it was called Tough Top Coat.
Okay.
And you basically just paint it on and it just, I thought it would go really shiny because when you put it on, it's very shiny. No colour difference.
Oh.
And it just like adds like a sort of top coat.
Oh,
to
like a protective sheen type thing.
I was like, that's genius,
that is
isn't
clever.
it? Like, especially for those hard wearing areas because, you know, it's sod's law and you finish painting and then it just like starts chipping. And stuff.
And you've got a 2-year-old, right?
Yeah.
So like grubby hands going up it and stuff. Oh, my mum always told me about paint. Oh, we've got to answer an email from a listener at some point because she actually advised about, she was asking what paint to put in her kids' room. This is what just rang a bell. My mum was like, you can get this wipe paint, like, especially in kitchens and stuff. If you get like cooking on a spill or something, you can actually get some of it where you just wipe rather than having to touch up.
That's so good.
And I was like, oh, that's a good idea. But yeah, it's worth it sometimes, things like that.
Yeah, definitely.
But I assume the varnishing of the doors is the same thing because I think over time, like even like the dirt in the air and stuff. Not that our house is that dirty. I think it could just affect these doors and they start to lose colour and stuff. So unless I've just been sold a river of lies to get him 3 days' work, maybe.
No, I think varnish is nice and it just like sort of seals everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And we did have grubby little fingerprints off, I think my nephews and then did you as well, on the toilet door where they're obviously constantly going in and out.
Yeah, of course,
yeah. But actually, as well, one thing to mention, I'm just seeing my little list, is I actually made some money this week.
Well, I was going to say, you're a bit flush at the moment, aren't you, mate?
I was actually, if I'm honest, a tiny bit disappointed with the amount. Because in my head, so I take all the copper out. And then yesterday, I took all the copper out that was left from the loft. And it was a massive run of 3 pipes going up to like a small water tank thing. I never know what those ones are. I don't know if they're like a feeder tank. Because you've got the main big tank, and it's like a feeder tank high up, I think.
Okay, yeah.
I don't actually know what the technical term is or whatever. But the run of it was probably like the whole width of Gran's bungalow. And then like them pointing up into the air like another 3 meters or so up to the tank. So I whipped out all of that and I was like, wow, this just feels heavy. It's going to be good money. Good money. Which obviously it was. So long story short, it was £630.
Nice.
But I just, in my head, I thought I might get to more like 800-900.
Yeah.
And then the tank that my plumber stole would have got me over 1,000, I thought. So I was a little bit disappointed, but I was also talking about being like making the right choice and the wrong choice and stuff. But I was a little bit lazy because I rang a couple of scrap people.
Yeah.
And the local one in Bromley was like £6, whereas there was one in Erith for like £6.70 and then another in Sydenham or somewhere like that, £6.90. So it's like 15% more. But I literally typed it into the sat nav and it was like 50 minutes each way. and that was squeezing it in today when already I had to go to like cedarwood here, dropping off, and then work for my brother, wire in the garden room, go and get this scrap, pick up Lydia. And I was like, oh, it's one of those things, isn't it? It's like I could have had maybe, I don't know, what's 15% more? 100 quid tops, maybe 90 quid more.
Yeah.
But like how much time? I would have lost 2 and a bit hours probably.
Yeah, plus petrol.
And stuff. So I made the decision just to go to a local one and take the hit. And obviously 630 quid's awesome.
It's just good, isn't it? Yeah.
Free stuff I've been ripping out.
So for people who don't know, like, what can you take as scrap? Because I know you can't take wires, or you can, but you have to strip them down.
Yeah, no, you can. So you can take cable as well, but you can take cable with the insulation still on. Just gets you way less money because they have to put it through their little machines that strip it. I follow someone on Instagram. It's so fascinating. It's so geeky. Yeah, they literally put it through this new machine. It's amazing. It just strips all the insulation off.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, you get way less. I'm really bad, so I really should do scrap cable because I'm rewiring houses. But sometimes it's so faffy to rip out. It's not worth the time. I don't think. But Gran's, again, most of it's up in the loft, so it's all there, and now it's all dead. So I feel like I should spend like an hour just cutting, and actually taking it. But I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but I know if you took pure copper, you probably get like 3-4 times more than like cable in a bag.
Okay.
But I think if you got the opportunity, and hopefully you're not doing anything illegal, like smashing up train tracks or something, you should definitely bag it up and just take it because they're all over the place, and you can take any metal. So the obvious ones are like lead pipes, which a lot of people rip out these days because they like poison the water and stuff. Copper cable, obviously, copper pipes, and then you get weird ones like the one that pays nothing is the cast iron one, which is like that roller you said you had. It weighs like 8 tons. I mean, even if you had like 8 tons, that's where you get like 40p or something.
Our water pipes were all cast iron.
Okay.
I think when they looked at it, when they built the house,
or lead, cast iron or lead.
So it's lead coming in, and then it's cast iron.
Oh wow.
I think when they built the house, there was like a shortage, so I think they just used that, which is quite weird. But,
okay.
Yeah, so I was like, get nothing for that.
But yeah, you take it down to these places, and I mean, I've filmed it all, so I'm going to do a YouTube video about like how I've done the whole thing, just out of if people pique their interest. But you totally feel like you're getting ripped off at all stages, but then it is literally free money to a degree. But you hear all these stories about, so today I had so much copper. I'll show you the photo while on here. Not very good for people listening. But they brought me like a little bin out because I had so much, like my own. Wow. It was almost like a little mini skip, and they brought this out because I had so much, and I put it all in there.
Oh, quality!
But then they literally got a forklift and then put that on a scale, and then the old, wives' tales, I don't know if they're true, which I think they probably are true, is that the scales are dodgy, obviously. And then obviously he's put, I don't know how much is actually in there, and the total reading on the scale said 300 and something kilograms, which if that was £7 a thing would be like £2,000. But obviously the bin weighs X amount of cash, which I don't know how much that weighs.
No, that's true.
So there's so many opportunities for them to be dodgy if they want to be. So I'm sure there's probably a little bit of dodginess in it, and I'm sure they at least double their money, I reckon.
Oh yeah,
they must do.
They must do, yeah.
But then they have to do all the crap to get all the clips off and all the stuff off. But at the same time, 630 quid for ripping some stuff out, which has probably taken me combined probably 1 day's worth of ripping out, but over like months. So yeah, definitely worth it. So you can just go down to these places and you just show them your ID. So that's the thing that's changed. I think where it used to be super dodgy was you'd get cash and it'd just be all a bit iffy. Whereas now you have to take your driving license and it has to get paid into your account. I think that's to stop the old pikeys on the train tracks and stuff like that. You're hacking down like 11,000 volt cables and stuff like nutters.
That's mental.
So I think that's to stop that. So yeah, it's literally, I'd say wherever you live, there'd probably be one unless you're right in the sticks. But definitely, I saw some like old guy in there. We went to school with his daughter, apparently.
Oh, really?
He was like, Unique Morris. I was like, yeah. And I thought he was going to say about the YouTube. And he was like, oh, I'm blah, blah, blah's dad. I was like, oh, right. Glad I didn't say the YouTube. I'm like a complete knob.
Oh, you probably know me from YouTube.
Yeah, my podcast. You got like a really good podcast. It's like, no, mate, you went to school with my daughter, you idiot. And he just had like random stuff, like a bit of stuff from his greenhouse and stuff like that.
Okay, interesting.
He'd taken down. I was like, so you can take anything. And the woman in front of me was there with like 2 kids, and I heard her say, blimey, this was stuff I was going to throw in the skip, and I think she got like 90 quid for it. So it's why not try it?
Exactly, like you say, it's something you were going to throw away. So why wouldn't you just take it down?
And once, I don't know if I've said this already on the podcast, I was walking to the train station once and I saw a load of copper pipe that someone had left, clearly for someone to take, as in, like, I can't be bothered. And I looked at it and I was like, damn it, that is like 70 quid or something there. But I was like, I've got to go and pick up Lydia. I can't, like, be late to pick up my daughter because I'm like a jippo with loads of, like, copper pipe on my back.
Turn up at school and you've got all copper pipe.
Be like, that's not embarrassing for her at all. So, yeah, fully recommend those places, even though I'm sure they're ripping you off.
Yeah, but money's money, mate.
I know. I asked them to film. I said, do you mind me filming a point on YouTube? They're like, they looked a bit strange at me, but they were like, yeah, do whatever you want, mate. They're probably like, we're fleecing you, mate. We don't care.
Just knocked 100 quid off.
Yeah. But no, I recommend doing it, and it's quite satisfying driving away with some money in your pocket. For
it really
nothing.
is, isn't it? Yeah.
But yeah, the car was completely full. So I don't know if you,
amazing.
Like that one I've showed you on the bin, but my crappy old Peugeot was literally, the whole thing was like full in the back. That's why I kind of thought it might be more like $1,000.
Yeah.
But never mind, can't complain.
Did they want to take the Peugeot as well?
It's probably worth more than the Peugeot.
Drive it in, yeah.
I think we did a We Buy Any Car about a year ago. It was like 1,100 or something. So it's probably down to like less than the scrap value of that.
We Buy Any Car, but not this one because it's really shit.
Yeah. Oh, such a bad car. So I think that's it for this week. So I think roofer from tomorrow, which is awesome. And then stud work. He thinks he'll be done stud work by the end of next week as well.
Wow.
And then I can get in there, and it's probably just when I start my blooming rewire. And to be fair, I could just start doing a few weekend work, maybe like a Sunday.
Yeah.
Because as I say, I don't think it's going to take long. So maybe without slowing down the job, I just have to do the odd Sunday. We've got a few bank holidays coming up, so I could do that.
Not this weekend, though.
Not this weekend. We're on a stag do.
And your brother's stag do.
Maybe that's why he's phoning me.
Yeah.
Maybe he's panicking. Maybe the wedding's off.
Yeah.
We're still going to stag do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Mental.
Tell me after the stag do.
Yeah. How did you do it? He never phones me this late. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Oh, I kind of wish that we answered the phone on the podcast.
Well, I don't think he listens, sadly.
Yeah.
Now we know what my builder does. I have to see if I can get him on board.
That's it, yeah.
And then next week we've got a guest, haven't we, Doa?
Yes, very exciting next week. We've got Ellie from Renovating the Constabulary. She has, I wouldn't say this, but she is known for having the world's ugliest house.
So yeah, Lincoln's
most ugliest.
What would you say it looks like?
It's hard to say. I think the house isn't ugly. It was the rendering.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. You just I think someone related it to an old rubbish cake.
Yeah, like cake frosting, really, isn't it? Yeah. But like that old layered effect you got in like the old days, which I can't really remember. But when I saw her Instagram, I was like, it does look like that.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, someone says, yeah, it does.
And hopefully you're not as thick as me, because when I heard constabulary, her name is Renovating the Constabulary. I was like, is that religious thingy? I was like, no, what is that? And I was like, oh, it's an old police station. So it's an old police station she's done up. So there's actually some cool history to it. So I'm looking forward to speaking with her, because presumably it's had like prisoners and stuff in there.
Yeah.
And hopefully she got some good details for us.
Definitely. And like buildings with that sort of history, it's just, and when you can find out about it, it's just really cool. Isn't it?
Definitely. I'm sorry, we need to answer email questions at one stage as well, because we've got a few and we just never do it.
We will do an episode.
So maybe we should just do ones where we just answer loads of questions.
Yeah. And
I can annoy you with AI questions.
That's it, it's definitely from you. From Mick Norris.
Yeah. But why is AI the best thing ever?
But yeah, thank you so much for listening and sticking around. As always, if you do want to email in, and we will answer your questions, please send an email to hello@thediyguys.com, or just hit us up on Instagram, DIY_guys_podcast. But yeah, thanks so much for listening. And
especially Toby.
Yeah, especially shout out to Toby again. Yeah, thanks for being the best. And we will see you all next week.
See you next week.